and welcome to the Brainwave Live. Sitting here is me, Kristen of Brain Candy, and now we got Jake, front and back of Guillotine.
Front and back?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
I'm not sure yet, but our other brains can decide if that will be left in the footage or not.
I like that.
This is Jake of Guillotine.
Hi.
Boom.
I play guitar and scream stuff into microphones, but not this one. We're going to be very soft and gentle into this microphone today. ASMR. Is that what it is?
Sure.
ASMR videos would you like the crack like celery and shit in front of like sensitive microphones?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have a nice soft ASMR voice today. No screaming into this one. I do want to scream into it, but I'm not.
I think I'm the loud one of this. I want to try to be quiet. Okay, so I think we're just going to jump right into questions with Jacob Guillotine because I know all about Jacob Guillotine, but you humans watching do not. So let's get you on my level of knowledge.
I'm scared.
I am too. I don't remember these questions.
I didn't read the questions.
I gathered.
Go.
I gathered that. Oh, fun fact about Jake is he's really good at responding to emails and acknowledging that he got them. But at the end of the day, you find out that he actually didn't really read completely into it.
Just at least the interview questions though, because I knew we were talking about other stuff though. Okay, so like I'm usually good at other stuff. You know me. I mean, come on.
Wow, this is kind of not a good first question, but I'm gonna roll with it.
Send it.
If you were to quit music right now, so if you were to quit the entire thing we're actually here to talk about, what would you do next?
Wow. Okay. Honestly, I've always had interest in psychology and even criminal investigation. Like I watch a lot of serial killer documentaries, so that's a path I like the clues, I like the mystery, and also just how human brains work. It's fascinating. So I think I would do something with psychology or criminal psychology if I wasn't doing music. But here we are, doing music.
I'm not surprised by that answer at all.
Right. Well, that's exactly right.
Crime documentaries forever. I feel like crime documentaries are a very just versatile thing. Like all different types of friends that I have. Like everyone is into that. Yeah.
I think it's healthy. I think if to say that you don't watch it or you avoid it, I think you're just denying yourself like what's actually out there and knowledge. Yeah. That's what it is. It's all about knowledge and just people suck. Plus, it's just a good show. Have you seen like Dahmer? It was a great show.
So good.
I'm glad they gave a lot of perspective to the victims too. That was cool. They weren't just glamorizing Dahmer.
Yeah. I never watched My Friend Dahmer because honestly, I didn't think he had friends.
He had they had one guy. There was he had one friend that he didn't do gay stuff with, and they went fishing and stuff. And he's out fishing with him, and he's like, "Yeah, Dahmer just pulled out a pocket knife and killed a fish." And it's just that would bum me out with a hang pretty quick. I'd be leaving after that. So that's why he doesn't have any friends.
Okay.
Other reasons too, but
okay. No offense to him. Just was a little skeptical about the title. Okay. Ooh, when I say Kiss Cruise, P.S. Guillotine played the Kiss Cruise in October and it was freaking sweet.
It was great.
Nothing but music and ocean. I cannot wait to do that again. But no one should ever get that much free food given to them ever.
There was so much MSG.
What the hell? Anyway, now that we've had time to sit on the Kiss Cruise, first thing when I say Kiss Cruise right now, what is the first experience that comes to your mind?
God, just off the tip top, I think the reception of getting on the boat and seeing a bunch of old friends that I was doing. I did previous Kiss cruises with old names and music and stuff I was trying to do at the time. So getting on the boat and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And saying "We're doing industrial metal and this is what we're doing. Here's the show." And people got excited. And they were, talking to my fiance and they were excited just about the band. They were getting to know the members. They were getting to know you. That was the first thing that comes to my mind is just getting on the boat. And it was just open arms, the Kiss Navy delivered.
It really was.
It was great.
Shout out to Sixth Man as well, because they really care about the artist.
Trey, Anthony, who else?
The artist relations people. Amanda, Patrick. Mac.
Yes, Mac. Yeah,
Yes.
she saved our asses a couple times.
Yes. And Mary.
Jake forgets stuff.
All right.
They got it down.
Oh, okay. Can you tell us one story about one of your upcoming releases? Just like paint a picture of like one track if you can.
There's so much I have to say, but it's so hard to sit on top of a good monster. I think that's all I got to say is that it's hard to sit on top of a good monster. I don't want to say too much because all I can say is that it's heavier, and we've invested a lot of our time in just watching every Clive Barker Hellraiser movie, Alien, watching all these textures and getting our art form down, our style, and just simply getting heavier and knowing what industrial is. So I think just expect just more, way more violent, way more sexual, and just heavier.
Yes.
All good things.
Yes.
All good things.
All of our favorite things. Cool. I like that. A little bit of a tease.
I'm such a tease.
Oh, this is my favorite question, I think. What's the most trouble that you have gotten yourself into as a musician?
As a musician? Define trouble. Like, we're actually bad or we loved the trouble. That's the thing.
Ooh, I want to hear both.
Okay, I
want
say,
like some real trouble that makes me go like, and then I want like, yeah, just trouble that was okay. Sure.
Okay, so as far as like I got trouble, I'm gonna say when I was a lippy little shithead kid and I was playing around, just learning the ways and just playing, and I was maybe 15, you know, You know my mom. She's kind of like one of those moms where this is a mom you don't fuck with. We all know those moms where you're like, yeah, if you backtalk, like, I hope you like hospital food. So, I was doing a show and I was already frustrated. I was just tired and I tuned and it just kept going out of tune. It kept going out of tune, this guitar. And finally, my mom gets to just saying, oh, tune your guitar, you know, it's out of tune, because she's sitting there going, it's out of tune, I'm like, fix it, you know? And my little shithead, smart ass mouth said, hey, do you want to tune it? And as you know, when your mom gives you that look and there's that mutual understanding of, oh, I fucked up. Yeah. Yeah. That's the most trouble I ever got in at a gig. Just my mother. Because I've always been a good boy. I mean, I did get blacklisted from a place, but that's because they deserved it. Called the promoter an asshole. And that was well deserved. I'm like, it's like, okay. He's like, I say, I quit. And then you're still like, you're blacklisted. And I'm like, okay, I said it first, like, settle down. So I got in trouble with my mom. I got in trouble with the club, which is irrelevant. The best trouble we ever got in was when we did the Greg Locke thing, and he was hosting a book burning, and he was just going on about it, like burning Harry Potter, burning Ouija boards, like just anything that was at all not just good old Christian morals. And so we posted a picture with our fire dancer at the time, who was wearing a nun outfit with a burning Bible, which I thought was super hot. I thought that was great. And we tagged him in it and said, you're not the only one having a book burning in Tennessee. And our social media just fucking blew up with just Baptists and conservatives just attacking us, saying we're going to burn in hell and all that shit. And I'm just like, I'm loving this.
So now I'm wondering, is it Greg Locke and his camp or Guillotine and your camp that likes fire more? Sounds like they like fire just as much, maybe.
We're all cavemen at the end of the day. We like fire. You know? Fire. Big boobs and fire. Beavis butthead.
We know how to identify common denominators. Come on now. Okay. Who do you want to collaborate with the most in 2023? Greg.
Greg. Old Greg.
Musically collaborate with.
Are we talking like within reach, or are we talking like fantasy? Who would I want to work with?
I think you should answer both. I like how you keep making my own questions 2 questions, but yeah.
You know my brain. I can't just say one thing.
Yeah.
Come
Well,
on.
the thing is, I think that your like big dream answer to this is realistic once you establish the in reach answer. So
I would love, honestly, because I just haven't met any of them yet. I have not even contact with their camp, but I would love to collaborate with literally any member of Rammstein. That's the dream. Like any member, I don't care who it is, just as long as we can understand each other. Because I know some speak English. Pretty much like, let's make something and just do weird. Probably Till Lindemann. He's just, come on, look at that punum of his. He is the industrial metal daddy. He's the best. As far as like within reach and people that I've made, or at least conversed about doing something together. I'd want to do something with someone who's not a musician. Like I would love to do something with like Doug Bradley, who played Pinhead, and maybe even do some collaboration with Clive Barker. Because these are guys that when I was in the pandemic and reading every Hellraiser book, watching every movie, studying every Clive Barker painting and listening to these Rammstein records and Static X and all that, it just all kind of made a cesspool in my head where I'm like, these are the elements I want to throw into it and include people that inspired me and maybe get even more inspired working on a personal level. Mm-hmm. So having like Doug Bradley with his great voice and then Clive just with even his words or his paintings, his visuals, that's pretty much what I want to do is collaborate with non-musicians.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. It all comes down to art at the end of the day. So
there's no lines. Nothing's
art
real.
and inspiration, it's all there.
Time's not real. Nothing matters. Do stuff.
I agree with that. What are you excited about for next year? This is a very general question, and I want to keep it very general.
Playing outside of Nashville. We've done a lot of shows here in the last year, and I'm just kind of like, I want to reach some new territory. I think that's what I'm most excited about. I love Nashville. It's my home. Mm-hmm. All my friends are here. Family's here. But we're excited to see some new faces. We're excited to see some new territory and branch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've already got your presence here. That's really all you have to do to start. Just get one city to know who you are, and it'll go out to the other cities.
Yes, we do.
Also, who is that fan of yours that has the G-Blade tattoo? Because before we even started working together, someone already had...
It was Chase.
Okay, like someone already had fan tattoos.
Yeah, that was...
blows me away.
So, drummer, Zach Dubois, he knows Chase, and he would come to the show, and he would sell merch and take videos and stuff. And we would just hang out and, do fire dancing and all this stuff. And he got the logo tattooed because it was just a symbol of this time we got him through, just getting it out of his head and stuff like that, so we could just find his place and all that shit,
Yeah.
And that's what we love. We love engaging with people and giving reason, purpose, hope, all through kind of primitive expression.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I think, why industrial works so well. And even the tattoo shirts, like we promote tattoos heavily. We like tattoos. We know nothing about tattoos in this room.
I have 2 that are healing right now.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a tattoo in like a year, and I hate it.
Yeah, we're gonna need to change that soon. I think someone's Christmas gift should be a tattoo.
I think so too.
So, are we gonna put our Venmos in this podcast? Yes. So we can both get tattoo money donated to us?
Please.
Okay. Back to Guillotine. What has inspired your live production elements? Snakes, fire, amazing lights, fog.
Alice Cooper. Mm-hmm. Rammstein. Trying to think of some other things. At least currently, what we've done, a lot of our influence was just early Rob Zombie, early Rammstein, and these guys that just kind of didn't have the ability to afford big equipment, and they didn't have like pyro jets and stuff, so they kind of have to make it with their hands. They're going to have to do something and have people engaging with it. And we looked back at these videos like with Alice and how he would just take any prop and turn it into a production. And that's where we were at. And there's so many resources now to make cool banners and get cheap stands. There's cool fog machines that shoot up. And there's so many cool little things that like I'm thinking even now as we advance the new production and we're working on the new stage show, I'm thinking about elements that make something industrial. So factories, metal, rust, leather, spikes, thinking of things that are these new textures as, watching these bands and how they evolved from their stages like where we're at. Like that's what I'm trying to see and manifest and maybe even try to be one step ahead because there's so many resources now.
Yeah, totally.
Also Halloween shopping. I go to Halloween stores and just buy props and shit and just throw it up on stage and it looks cool.
It really does.
There's really no method to it. I just go to a store and go, cool, shiny, and just put it on stage.
Yep, I feel that. I just gave him 2 tiny little graveyard prop thingies before this. You can never have too many headstones, No,
never.
What is Guillotine's primary focus of 2023 for 2023?
Doing the music that we now understand. Where we were writing and recording Odium, I was getting into the metal world, but I wasn't quite there because I dabbled in it when I was younger, but I left it. And I now going back to it older, going through life and finding what guitar sounds I like, what drum sounds I like. It just took time and patience. But when you have 2 years of the world saying, hey, we're going to be on pause, figure it out. I took that time just to find myself. As much as I hated it, I went in and I found what I liked. And now that's what I'm excited about is like, this is the music that we've wanted to do for so long. And now it's finally come to fruition and getting heavier and just what we want it to look like. Mm-hmm. That's the goal.
Hell yeah. I think it really timed out perfectly too, because Odium is a wonderful album and it was like just the perfect time to put something out for people to chew on. It makes sense to Guillotine, absolutely. But like, yeah, you all have evolved so much from even when I first met you. So
it's gotten a lot more creative and even the thoughts, like I look back at notebooks and like just even month by month, I'm like, I see where it's taking shape. And things are making sense. And it just even takes like a piece of art or a song or a book or something to just kind of make things just that final straw. And then it all comes together. And that's where we're at now is like we've had the final straws to make this really where we want it to be.
Yeah, totally. I just picture like the Clive Barker book just like spinning around your head and the pages like flying out.
Real talk. So I just bought it's a great Clive Barker book called Dark Worlds, and it's everything. Like I brought it to one of the meetings, and like the staff was trying to like, oh, we want to look through it. And I'm like, back off, it's mine. Like precious. Like this book, I carry it around like a toddler around my studio and around my house. I love it, and it's filled with everything from Candyman, Hellraiser, Rawhead Rex, the books, the paintings. It's everything. If Clive Barker had his hands on it, it's in the book, and yeah, we have a lot of alone time together with that book. So I love it. Yeah, go get it. Clive Barker, Dark Worlds. That's, my God, it's the most beautiful collection of horror I've ever seen.
You can replace your porn with Clive Barker's book.
What do you mean? It has replaced my porn. What are you talking about?
For the low price of however many dollars, you too can
for $50,
enjoy this.
You have endless pleasures and violence and sexuality from the minds of Clive Barker.
Speaking of sexuality, how was Guillotine born?
Okay, so this is actually going to get dark. So when we were looking at Jake J and the Killjoys, and we had the name, and we were trying to shape it into something else, and I was just kind of like, not quite there. Not quite. Just not quite there. There's something missing. And there's just those things. And you have to take time. Like even Kiss did that. Like with Wicked Lester, they had a record. They had their record labels interested. They were going to do a whole release. It was great. Then they said, you know what? We want to do something else. And they just canned it and then created Kiss. So the note here is that it's never too late, but it was born when the producer who did Odium passed away from COVID. And me and Zach were at his memorial in Nashville, and it was really heavy because it was all these people sitting in the studio because it was an old house that he added on to the back of it. All this like big open studio room and, you know, the side studio room and stuff where we recorded Odium. So all these people are sitting in there sharing stories, talking about sitting on these ugly red couches and just talking about the gear, and everyone's crying. And I looked over at Zach, and we were already kind of talking about Guillotine, like, what do we think about it? And I looked at him, and we had this like moment where we just like, people's eyes and silence says a lot. And we both had that thing where we said, we can do better. We can do better. And I always had this thought, you know, we had so many concepts and ideas I wanted to do, but I always had an idea of like, how come someone has never taken a G and turned it into a blade, like a guillotine? That'd be a good idea. And I'm like, fuck, why give that idea to someone else? I'm going to use it. And we drew it, and I was like, ooh, that's cool. I like that. I don't know what I did, but I like it. So lo and behold, that's what happened, is that we tried it. And then I was like, well, how are we going to change the name? I don't want to just go on Facebook and say, we're Guillotine now. It's not, come on, it's a show. We do something fun. So we told everyone we're going to do an execution. And it was like, we're doing Executed by Guillotine. And everyone at this point kind of knew, like, they're up to something. We got to go check it out. So a bunch of our friends came down to see the show. And we did a thing where we pulled down the banners to reveal. We went from Jake J to Guillotine. And that's when we kind of unveiled, you know, the new marketing. We unveiled the fire dancers. We unveiled the GIMP and all this other stuff, you know. And that's kind of what we became known for, was doing the weird and the showcase, being kind of the Alice Coopers of the scene, just doing original music and playing with fire and stuff. So yes. It grew pretty quick. Now I'm just ready to take it out of Nashville and get it to masses and reach communities out of Nashville.
Yes.
And we already are. We've reached Illinois, Knoxville, LA. We have a good little following in Salt Lake and Colorado. So yeah, we need to make some benches.
Absolutely. And me and you networking like crazy all the time. Actually, yesterday, fun fact, during my tattoo appointment, we ended up getting a show in Knoxville booked for them. So I'm not going to tell you anything else. Right. At least not right now. So
deal with it. You're not going to hear about it.
But that's the way it goes. Like, you played one show in Knoxville, and a radio station has been featuring you all pretty regularly there. And now a venue that I was going to reach out to has reached out to you all just from one time. So anyway, Guillotine is contagious. Please watch out.
Yeah, please watch out. In more ways than one. You've met Jeremy. We honestly too, we love Knoxville. Like, I really like what's going on out there. There's a cool little scene happening out there. It's different. I like it. Especially the concourse. It's my favorite venue out there.
It's better than when I lived there. I had to make my hometown way cooler after I left.
Of course.
But that's okay. I have you all to go back there and visit and make it cooler. Okay. As far as the Kiss Cruise goes, we're going to go back to that. What were your best and what was a best and worst experience / memory? I bet I know what the worst one is.
Oh, you already know it.
It wasn't really the cruise.
Best moment, I think, just for all of us, was that last show where it's like, give it your all. You've worked your ass off. Just have fun. I think that last show, and we were like wiping our sweat on the ceiling and stuff and just being gross and just getting people rowdy. And that was my favorite part, you know. The worst was when our gear had to go back through customs, and we were all pissed off, hungry, dehydrated, hungover. It's like 8 a.m. We have our gear. We're about to get on the bus, and they say, psych, we got to go through customs again. And I'm like, no. And it took 3 hours. So we were already we were done. Like it was, and they had to go through LAX, and they were trying to throw away our commemorative Kiss Cruise snow globes. And I threw a tantrum at some TSA agent trying to throw away my snow globe. I'm like, you son of a bitch. Like pretty much the day getting off the boat, it was just a real kick in the nads, just over and over again. It was just one incident after another, just leaving. And I'm like, I want to go back. It was so much fun. I want to go back to reality. It's awful. Being a real human, I hate it. Hate it. Went through airport security in LAX. Hate it.
I can't believe they tried to take your snow globe. They were fine with mine. Mine got sent to Kansas City and not to Nashville, but I got $100 voucher because of it. So
well, here's why. It's because it was the fluid limit. You know, that's what it was. And I'm just like,
didn't have any other fluids.
Like, come on, it's a snow globe, man. What are you going to do with a snow globe? It's like, everyone sit down. You're going to get festive. Sit down.
It's a really cool snow globe.
It's a cool snow globe, but I threw a tantrum in LAX.
Yeah. I knew the bad thing would be the customs thing. And the thing is, it was only 3 guitars and a small Pelican case. Mm-hmm. It's like, it wasn't even like all the gear, the whole shebang. Anyway.
I'll say this. I'm not the first gay man to have a tantrum in LA, and I won't be the last.
Yeah.
Especially at LAX. I won't be the last. I promise you.
Yeah. Being with Hangry You I wasn't even hungover, but I feel like I suffered just as much because the hangry energy was real.
From all of us, though, man, it was me, Jordan, Zach, all of us. We were just like, we want to go home.
This question, I feel like, is kind of a good segue. What is the biggest sacrifice that you've had to make for this career? This very hard career of being a musician.
I would say normalcy, but I think that's bullshit. I don't believe in normal. I think it's because, you know, what's normal to the spider is chaos to the fly. I think the biggest sacrifice is you make a lot of friends, but you lose a lot of friends because people forget this is a business. And sometimes you really want to work with someone, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Also changing yourself and kind of losing yourself. It's basically the biggest sacrifice is losing that loving all, forgiving all personality, and having to grow you got to be a little cold to make something happen. That's the only way it's going to get across. And to run a business is basically, it's not the greatest sacrifice, but the worst gain I got was having to be a little colder and just shrill, dare say, to get something done.
Yeah.
Sucks, but you know, it's business.
Yeah. This industry is a hell of a place for your mental, to be totally honest. But
yeah, and you can't just, you can't sit there and just take shit for too long. You know, you have to know your worth.
Yeah.
And not get, you have to put up with enough shit, but there comes a point where it's like, all right, now you're just, this person's screwing with me, and now it's like, you gotta stop this because I'm done. That's the hard part. And it puts a knot in your stomach, but then afterwards you feel kind of good.
Yeah, definitely.
Sucks.
I recently had an experience like that.
Isn't it fun? I love it.
Yeah. Kiss Cruise question. I think this might be the last. Favorite artist you saw at the Kiss Cruise and favorite artist that you met at Kiss Cruise?
Man, seeing Kiss one more time, that's a given. It's Kiss. They were slicker than eel shit, man. They were tight. They had a great show, and the sound was fantastic, and we were just having a great time. We were cracking up, and they played all of our favorite songs. Kiss. Yeah, Kiss brought it. I will say, the Fifth, they were great. Green Jello was good. There's so many other bands I forget their names because I have ADD and I retain more Hellraiser, Clive Barker than I remember band names. And but the lineup this year was fantastic. Like there were some great singers. Caleb Johnson was on there. He's a buddy of mine, and that dude's voice he's one of the greatest modern rock singers in my opinion. I think he's got so much soul, so much feel, and like there was a lot of cool just bands. Like the variety was cool of rock styles. Like some were kind of southern rock, some were glam, some were metal. I think we were the heaviest band.
I think so too.
I think so. We were the heaviest, but we're about to be heavier.
Little did they know. They went on the Kiss cruise while they could contain the metal a little bit, but it's about to go.
It's hard to sit on a good monster.
Exactly. What can fans expect to experience with Guillotine in 2023?
Experience.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing I'll say is, at least we can talk about this because it's kind of just fun gear talk, is we have been investing in lighting because I have so many ideas for the show where I want to see things. My phone's going off. I will call you later. Don't know who it is, but I'll talk to them later. But I've always had ideas for lighting and even just strobes here or color here, moving lights or fog. I've always had these ideas. Never could really come to fruition. Even then, at the current shows, I was controlling all the lights with my feet. And that was a lot, just having to control all my sounds and lights and stuff. It's great now. We're learning all the technology and just the painstaking and patient process of losing your mind at a computer, programming lights. So the first thing we'll say is pretty much we want the house lights off. Then when it's showtime, we're in control of our lights. And all we gotta say is just turn the house lights off. And we just want a complete dark stage and we invade with our lights. And the colors are cool. There's UV, there's strobes, it's gonna be a lot. What's in my head, I think everyone's gonna like it. You're really gonna have a world and an experience. It's not just gonna be like watching a band with one color and you're seeing them still. There's gonna be a lot of movement. There's gonna be some things that reach out into the audience that I can't even talk about yet. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to reveal that secret. But we're gonna do some things a little differently. But I've never been more excited.
I'm so excited.
Because what we've been looking at. You know what we've been shopping for. You've seen our shopping list. It's good.
Yes. And just my minimal experience of running lights. They do so much for a show. And good thing about Nashville, yes, it is Music City. People care about audio and whatnot. But I feel like the lights are kind of slept on. Especially in the smaller places. People just are and I get it, smaller venues, especially after COVID, you can't just have a lighting designer there all the time. But it does so much to a show. It does so
everything.
much. And people underestimate that. So I love that you kind of have a less is more, your own production, and we don't have to worry about the weird mesh of being left on club blinking lights to mix with your creativity. So
I've had those before where you go to a club and it's just the sound automated lights and it's you don't know if you're going to get purple, pink, green, blue, and you just look like you're in this a Skittles bag and stuff strobing and moving around and it doesn't fit with the fucking song because you're playing a dark, broody song with your disco lights and it's just damn it. So now we have control. And now it's when you watch a show, you're I feel like I'm in the song.
Yeah.
And I'm a sneaky little shit too. I worked at haunted houses. So I know some fun little things to add, even smells, the scent of the room, even taking advantage of UV lighting, maybe doing some UV contacts, doing UV painting on our clothes. I got ideas.
Yeah, you don't stop at the ideas.
I never stop. No.
Rest assured.
I'm a madman.
I feel like I might know the answer to this. What is the most pivotal moment in the past year for Guillotine?
As far as what do you mean?
I guess
as far as a success or a really standout moment or a
just a drastic twist on the general Guillotine. So it could be either, really, whatever comes to your mind first.
I think the most pivotal moment was how to handle first of all, just even changing the name, period. That was a lot.
That was what I was thinking.
I mean, we're not even a year old. We're going to be a year old in January.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking about that and where we've come and the designing and stuff, there's been so many little turning points, but honestly, the execution and saying, here's what we're going to do. Here's our show. It needs work. It still needs love, but here's what we're working on. That was cool. But now I would say the most recent turning point is the upgrade of technology to go along with the upgrade of music and visuals. So everything's really, it's not just like, oh, they're doing a new song and they're still wearing the same clothes and stuff. It's like, no, everything is changing. Everything. We're talking gear, lighting, music, aesthetic, everything. It's not that it's like changing in a new direction. It's just getting better.
Yeah, it's a new personality. You said something to me over text like a day or two ago about like comparing it to American Horror Story, where it's all its own story, but there's still like a cohesive like underlining to it, which it
keeps it fun. I think also with how our cultures change, with how we as people change, I think it's ridiculous to think we can just stay in one spot and do one style or one song or one tone, adding things like change and story. That's really exciting to me, going from like just one theme to another and how they can all kind of like coincide and tie together while also creating new elements. Like at some point I want to get involved with like primal jungle stuff and tie that into modern like society. Like massive modern industrial collapse, and now the jungle's taking over. Like, how could that be written? That's kind of where my mind is at. Like, that's how I see things going in some future. I don't know how soon, but some future.
Yeah, we'll go to the jungle when we feel like it.
Yeah, get tribal pants and loincloths.
So, with that being said, where do you find the most inspiration for your current songs?
A mix. Sonically, it's listening to Lamb of God, Rammstein, Static X, Three Teeth, Nine Inch Nails. I'm not listening to a lot of Rob Zombie or Marilyn Manson on this record. The previous stuff, I listened to a lot of Manson and stuff, but now I'm focusing on like the real heavy hitter industrial. Like it's thick with industrial sounds. That's what I like, and the chunky guitars and stuff. A lot of the inspiration and ideas for songs will come from like reading and watching films, reading books, especially Clive Barker and Hellraiser, and even like Stephen King and his work. I just love Clive Barker because I like the broad imagination that he has. And that's what I want this to have, is a very broad imagination. So where I'm kind of able to turn myself loose a little bit, I was always kind of holding back and thinking like, oh, I shouldn't say that. Where now I'm like, oh, I'm totally going to say that. Yes. Now I'm really not, I guess I'm not caring as much. I care not to care pretty much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it makes it more interesting. I want to write about songs where no one is safe, because I believe it's like humor, like no one is safe. I think that's, everyone needs a sense of humor.
Yeah.
But again, like that's another thing. Humor inspires me. Good cheeky little one-liners. I love that. Again, Clive Barker's great at that. Rammstein, when you understand their lyrics in English, they're pretty cheeky. So that, and honestly, as far as just music, it's the fractals and just anything on my laptop. Just kind of hearing like a sound. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I can do something with that. Or I get lost in this like fractal guitar supercomputer, and I can just be like, oh, I want this amp and I want it to sit in a spooky asylum hallway, because why not? Like I can design it to be that way. It's like, or I want this amp in a cathedral, and I can kind of get lost in imagination. So
that's crazy.
What it comes down to at the end of the day is it's imagination that inspires me the most.
Yeah.
And being allowed to be imaginative.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's nice.
That's all we need. People don't use their imaginations enough.
Is this the final?
It is.
Oh my God.
Are you about to die?
I'm excited.
Okay. I really like this being the last one. Tell me 3 adjectives, and 3 only, that describe Guillotine.
Current or
Current.
what it is to be?
Current. Just, you can do 2023. I mean,
If I want to, just for funsies.
yeah, just 3 adjectives that describe what's going on.
I'm going to give like 3 words just to give the vibe, like to really attack the senses. Like we got all the senses in there. I'm going to say industrial for starters. No, I'm going to take that one back. That's almost a given.
Yeah.
That's our genre. Let's get, we can get more creative and clever than that. I'm going to say leather. Indivisibility. And Giger.
Oh, I'm not surprised by that last.
Not one bit. Not one bit.
Okay.
So, Giger. That's all I'm going to say. That's kind of where my mind is at.
All right. You humans do what you want with those 3 adjectives. We're wrapping this up.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, Jake of Guillotine. And now everyone knows all the things that I know.
There's so much more to know, too. There's so much more.
I know so much more.
You'll never get that information.
Where the hell can we find Guillotine?
When we're not living in a sewer, you can find us at guillotineband.com. Also, all of our social media handles are just Guillotine615. And because no one can fucking spell guillotine, it's Guillotine for you illiterate bitches. And yeah, Guillotine615. And it's not guillotine, it's Guillotine615. And guillotineband.com. Go there and buy something, you bitches.
Yeah, they have cool fucking merch. And
we're starting to put my original art on there as well. So you can get original like paintings, and some are like 36 inches long and some are really small. So we're going to have some variety for everybody, but they're all super twisted. Yes. Super twisted. Yeah. Which is what we like, though.
Your merch store is the shit. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Everyone's going to think I'm being biased. I don't care. Go look at their merch store and then you'll be like, oh, she's not biased. She's just right.
We just have cool t-shirts. They're super comfy and soft, and they're printed in Nashville by David at Apollo Merch Co.
Yeah.
Best merchandise ever.
Shout out to David.
Oh, we love David.
I know. I need to email him right now, actually.
See, there we go. We're just off to a great start. We never stop. No. Business all the time.
Okay. Someone take pictures of me on this shirt now.
Oh, my shirt. Damn it. We've been talking about Clive Barker half this episode.
Yes. Play a drinking game to this. Every time you hear the name Clive Barker, take a shot.
Every time Jake's eyes are darting around in ADD fashion, you have to finish your drink. So everyone's going to die watching this podcast. Everyone's going to get alcohol poisoning.
Yes, we should do that. Podcast, like normal podcast, and then drinking game edition.
Oh, my God.
All right. Enough ideas on the camera. We have to keep the rest privately.
That was fun.